Hi guys, it's Brookelynne and welcome to the channel. So today's video is going to be a Let's Talk video. So I'm doing another installment of my Let's Talk series, and it's going to be on what it's like to be a Frenchie mum. So the truth about having a French bulldog or French bulldogs, and yeah, telling you the good things, the bad things, my story, and are they worth it? Yes they are. Are they hard work? Yes they are, but it's worth it. So let's get started. So I've always wanted to have a wee French bulldog. I've got two now, and I did have one years ago, but unfortunately she died. Wee Zeba, I love her, but I've always loved wee Frenchies from, I would say, about 10 years ago, when it started to become popular and seeing what they were like, and I was like, they're so cute. I loved their wee ears, the wee face shape and all, and how loving they were, and I was like, I want one. So I've always wanted one, and I always found them quite cute and adorable and lovely wee dogs. And I did get one years ago when I was living at home with my family, and with Zeba I found it quite easy to look after. Well, I had other people helping me look after her, so it's different than having one to look after when you're with just you and your husband. But Zeba, she was quite easy to look after, and she could be a bit hard work at times, but not really that much, I would say, because other people were helping me look after, and the other people in the house. She was 18 enough to look after, but unfortunately when she died, like, broke my heart. I'm not going to get in black because I'll cry, because I love her to bits, and I always will do. But when me and Connor got married and we moved out, we got given Horton as a present, and as like my family, we got given him as a wee wedding present, and weren't our eyes open when he came to live with us. Our eyes, I thought, I knew it would be more harder work, me and my husband having a dog on our own versus from living at home with family and stuff like that. I knew it would be a bit more harder work than just that way, but my goodness, were our eyes opened when we brought wee Horton home. He's lying over beside me here, like on the cushions. So yeah, now he was 11 or 12 weeks when we got him, and the difference, like, both of them are lovely dogs with good temperaments, like all of them are, but the difference between him and Zeba, the hyperness. Zeba was never really a hyper dog, but Horton, he still is, but he's calmed down a good bit since then. My goodness, our eyes were opened. Horton definitely, and he can still be like this, it was like a Duracell battery, would just go and go and go and go and go. He would take like a few minutes rest, and I'll be like, go, 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 go. Always hyper, which puppies are, they're hyper, but he was hyper. The word hyper didn't even come to explain what he was like. His puppy always going into everything he shouldn't be getting into. So he chewed a few things of ours, like they chewed the skirting boards one time. You couldn't watch him. You had to have eyes on the back of your head. I barely have eyes in the front of my head because I'm visually impaired. Never mind eyes in the back of my head to watch him. So I was constantly like a helicopter dog mum around him. I was like, Horton, what are you doing? So I was like, I didn't want him to do anything that he can get easily hurt with, like wires. Well, never really had wires lying around or anything, but you still, you never know, like there could be one like off a lamp or something like that I can get into, like from the sofa. So I always had to have eyes in the back of my head and the front to watch him, honestly. And on top of that, which we weren't prepared for, it happened just, he had proper separation anxiety. I mean severe separation anxiety. He could not be left on the house on his own. Whenever we really wanted to leave him on his own for long when he's a puppy, because we didn't want to leave him more than like an hour, 2 hours tops when he's a puppy, but we could not leave him alone at all for the first, I would say, 5-6 months of having him. We couldn't leave him alone. We had to get him minded like a child, literally. Like, there were some times where we got babysit. There was times where we tried to leave him on his own because we got baby gates in our house. Excuse me. We got baby gates in our house to keep him out of going upstairs, to keep him in a room. And he would jump them baby gates and get himself in such a state, like an anxious state, and proper get himself worked up, because we'd see me and my husband leave, me and Connor leave. He would just get so anxious all of a sudden, like obviously separation anxiety. He would just get so anxious. He'd be like screaming, crying at the top of his lungs because he was left alone. He couldn't get at us and he couldn't see us. He would just scream and scream and scream and cry and cry and cry. And he jumped the gate a few times because we were wondering how he was getting out of the gate, because it was in the kitchen, because obviously where the doorway is, we had the gate there. We don't have doors downstairs, but we'll get them figured out soon. But we had the gates, and still do. We had the kitchen one first, then we got the living room one a wee while afterwards. We were wondering when we were coming back, and he was panting and he'd got over that gate, and we were like, Connor, did he get over that gate? And like, he must have. So what we did, we filmed him on my husband's phone. Like, when we went out to the shop to get dog food or whatever, we filmed him. And like, as soon as we left, he would scream. He'd start crying. Yeah, he'd scream and scream and scream, and he'd jump the gate, and then he'd get over it, and then he'd be panting, running around the house. And then we came in, and he was out of the gate, and he was like panting. So that didn't work, and we were considering getting a higher gate, but we decided, look, we're going to wait a while and just put him outside. We put him outside in the yard to go out to the shop. We kind of got complaints from our neighbours that he was screaming the whole time, and we were like, we can't do that because it's not from the neighbours, and he was getting himself in the state. So we were like, we're going to have to work this around. So we had to get in mind when we wanted to go out somewhere ourselves. We couldn't even go out for a coffee together without him, or if we had him minded we could, but yeah. Lucky enough, I was in college in the day and Connor and my husband worked at night, so our schedule fitted in with Horton. So at that time we were able to kind of work it around and get him sorted out, and there's always someone in the house to look after him, which is quite good. I don't know how we would have worked around that if we didn't have that schedule set up. But another time, which is a scary time, we got a crate for him, like, and then we left him in the crate when we went out to dinner for a family, like my side of the family, for an hour. We just went to McDonald's, and he was fine. We had TV on for him. We tried TV, the music playing on the smart speaker. We had that, but it wouldn't work. But the first time he was absolutely fine, and we were like, this is a couple of months into him having separation anxiety. I think it was like November time when we got him that July, August time. It was a couple of months in, because obviously he was getting minded a lot at the start by different people. But so we were like, oh my goodness, he actually loves the crate. He's chilling in it. He doesn't seem to be upset or anything. He's watching TV. We were like, oh my goodness, yeah, that's a perfect solution. So next time he was actually okay, maybe a bit more anxious, but he was okay. And then obviously throughout the week we didn't go anywhere without him like that throughout that rest of that week, apart from once or twice. But he was fine with that. But then we went to church one time. We'll actually tell a lie, we went out to get something to eat for lunch. This is before the days we knew about the lampposts and the dog friendly cafes we take them to now, him and Nova. So yeah, we left him in the crate to go to lunch. And when we came back from lunch, I did notice he was a bit more anxious than usual, and he had a couple of scrapes on the top of his head. And I was like, is that crazy? He hurt himself? but then I thought nothing of it. I just thought maybe just limit his time in there, and then we were trying to get him minded for the church that night, and we couldn't, and I was almost going to stay home to look after him while we were going to church. So, but then I kind of felt a bit reassured to leave him, so I left him in the crate again, and then the church service was going on for like an hour and a bit, an hour and a half, and then there was a young adults thing on that night, but we were considering going, but I had a bad feeling about, I had a bad feeling, so I was like, God, I don't think we should go, we should check on him before we decide to go to that, because I don't want, I have a funny feeling he's hurt himself. And thank the good Lord that we went home early instead of going to young adults night, because I don't think he would have been here if we went to that young adults night, because he had got his neck caught in the cage. Yeah, literally he cut his whole head, like it didn't need stitches or anything, but he had like cut his whole head here badly, his whole forehead, and he'd caught his neck because he opened the first bar of the door, and he hadn't opened the second one. He was having himself in a full-blown panic attack. He'd caught him, sorry I'm getting a bit gurney about it, but he caught his neck trapped in between the cage door and the cage door frame. His neck was right there, his head was popping out. Literally as soon as he was screaming, and Connor lucky he just ran in, got him out of there, and I was literally going in full-blown panic mode, and I was like, he's gonna die, I was actually getting panicked about it, really panicked, but lucky enough, apart from badly cut head, which didn't need stitches or anything, a bit of cream and he was fine, it healed up within a few weeks, and just obviously a panic, like a proper full-blown panic he was in, which we had to calm down from. Apart from that, he was fine, but I was like, oh my goodness, we are not leaving him alone until he gets over this. So from then on out, we couldn't leave him on his own. Literally couldn't leave him on his own. So we had to get him minded by everyone who could mind him when we wanted to go out. We couldn't go out on many date nights. I'm not complaining, because at the end of the day, at that time, and even then, he's a priority in me and my husband's life. He's like a child, so he's like a child just. So I didn't want to put him through any stress just for the sake of a night out, do you know what I mean? So from then on out until like January time, we had to get him minded when we wanted to go out somewhere without him. We asked us to go to the shop, if we were doing a food shop, or going to church, going on a wee night out, or going somewhere together where we needed to go. And then we had to try to find dog-friendly places like restaurants, cafes, and that's when we found the lamppost. And it actually was kind of a blessing in disguise, because the lamppost is our favourite place, and we went there the day. We go there every weekend. So yeah. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Eventually we tried to build him up to not get so anxious when we were leaving. So we had to leave him in the kitchen behind the baby gate where we ate our dinner, and that kind of helped him break free of that. And he kind of eventually, as he grew into approaching his first birthday, he grew out of it. He still can get anxious when we're not there, but he doesn't get as anxious anymore. He kind of learns to chill out and have a good wee chill for a few hours. We leave him for up to 5 hours now, and over 2. Yeah, but we would really leave him that long anyway. It's only when we're on an island or something like that we would leave him, but I don't really feel comfortable leaving him any longer than 5-ish hours. But it was worth it, because he was so cuddly from the start. He was a lovely personality. He just, when he cuddles you and he kisses and all of his sweet tongue, it made it all worth it. In the way he's just so cuddly. He's lovely. He's always around you. It just made it all worth it. That's a good thing about one wee Frenchie. They're just a proper wee companion to you. They just love you, and even if you had like the worst day ever, they love you. They do love you. So, and they're just adorable. They really, really are, and they're just sweet joys. Like, I'm so glad God created them because they're absolutely amazing. I just love my two Frenchies. Well, the free and the one who's in heaven. I love her too. So when we got Nova, they did have a bit of civil rivalry, which they do still have. That's one bad thing, that another negative, but the positive, most of the time they get on really, really well. They play together, and Horton and Nova, they play together. They kind of enjoy each other's company until they kind of annoy each other, and then they're like, enough of that. But they enjoy each other's company. They enjoy going on walks together. It's cute taking them out for walks. And with Nova, I've talked about more Horton's negative parts. I haven't even mentioned Nova. Nova, I found her harder to toilet train than Horton. Horton, he did do a few accidents in the house when we first got him, but once he learned to go outside, that was him. He just learned toilet. He knew toilet. Like, I would say to him, if he needs toilet, he will let me know. He will, what he does, he goes up to me and then he just kind of looks at me and then he runs to the door, just say toilet, and I say to him, look, Horton, do you want toilet? And then he just runs the door, jumps at the door, and then you know to take him out the back door for the toilet. And then in the middle of the night, a routine he actually has his toilet routine every single night. So me and my husband do take turns taking the toilet, do the night toilet run. One night it's my turn, next night it's Connor's, and we'll kind of work it that way. So what he does to wake us up for the toilet is routine around 3 or 4. He goes to the toilet a few hours after we go to bed. He goes to the toilet to get up. He would lick you. He'd kind of run around the bed like himself, like you. He'd run up and down the bed like I said before. He would shake his head like that and shake his ears, jump off the bed, run towards the door here, and I'd jump to the door, scratch the door, and if we didn't hear him or were still sleeping, he would kind of go right in this side of the bed or that side of the bed, normally my side of the bed, thanks Horton, and he'd jump up the bed and he'd just go scream. He'd just scream at you. He'd just shut up and go like toilet. That's literally, because on his truth, he's like, wants to go to the toilet, and like, you want toilet? And he's like, run to the door to say, hey, I want toilet, mommy. And then me and Connor are lying here like this. Connor, you take him. Brooke, you take him. Connor, please take him. Brooke, take him. Connor, Brooke, Connor. And then it's usually me or him. And I'm like, fine, come on. And I stop up down them stairs. And I'm like, come on, you. Take him to the toilet. Don't I? Yeah, he woke up. He woke up from his nap there. Can I talk about the toilet? He's like, Lauder, he looked at me. So, yeah, that's our routine. And Nova, she tends to just sleep for the night. We'll take her to the toilet too when he wants to go to the toilet. So, but she never, I think, because once she goes to the toilet, she's fine. But normally, she pees the bed instead of going to the toilet last though. So that's one thing we're working on her to overcome that. I think I may have to put her on nappies. Now, she hasn't done it as much now as much she did before, but I think we're going to have to put her in nappies so she doesn't go to an accident on the bed. Yeah, that's one negative about Nova. Her potty training, toilet training isn't up to scratch as what Horton is. Tends to be quite funny about her privacy in the toilet when outside. She doesn't like anyone looking at her in the toilet, so I have to kind of close the door and let her do her thing, which is fine. Her and Horton, but like if she won't tell you if she needs toilet, so it will take her a while to just pee on the bed. Typically, I'm like, Nova! Literally. Then me and my husband have to change the bed, and it's just a nuisance, but hopefully we'll overcome that too. With Seba, she did the same thing. She's a bit more difficult to potty train, but I kind of got there for her too, but she would pee the bed as well. But unfortunately, she's not here. So, but I think each dog's different, the same way as each child's different. You're going to have things to do really well and things you have to work on to get them to that certain point. I find some dogs and some kids are better at sharing their toys. Like Horton, He sometimes, sure, sometimes it doesn't, depends on his mood. Nova, if she's in a bad mood or she's in a bossy mood, she will not let him touch toys. And I've been having to tell her off to not do that, because I think both of them can get a bit greedy of toys and greedy of everything. They have to have what the other one has. They have to have it just them, and I'm like, nope, you're sharing. So yeah. And that's another thing, they just kind of can get a bit pissy with each other at. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Well, pulling for walks. So one thing I have found with two of them, they do pull. If there's another dog, they'll get another dog and want to play, and they get frustrated on the lead, especially Horton. And I have to kind of try to keep them calm and get them to walk past it, but it's a process to work on that too. But yeah, it's just true for being a Frenchie mum. There's ups and downs, but I wouldn't be without my two Frenchie kids. I call them Frenchie kids, and I'm a weirdo. They're technically dogs, but they're fur babies, so yeah. But I wouldn't be without them. They're like proper joys of my life. I love them bits. Like, I just love them. I love them. They're just amazing. Like, God sent them in their lives for a purpose, for a reason. And Horton, like, all of them's helped me through kind of down times in my life, but Horton helped me through loads, and then so did Sabo when she was around, and Nova really helps me too. So I just love them. They're just joys. And you may have seen them in my vlog done for Vlogmas. You may have seen both of them in any vlog. If you want to see them in action, like playing about, days in the life, even if you want me to film some more days in the life of a Frenchie mum, I'll do that, and gladly I'll do it. And yeah, if you can relate to this, if you're a Frenchie mum or a dog mum, let me know your experiences of being a dog mum in the comments below. And I'll see you again in the next one. Stay gorgeous. God bless. Bye.